Hey, good evening, guys. It's Jason here, one of the pro traders over at TrueTrader.net. Former market maker, been around the business since the early 90s. Everybody knows me as a goose in our chat room. Putting out this midweek watch every week, trying to, I'm going to actually make some adjustments that I want to touch on and remind you all, but I try to keep these to about 10 or 15 minutes. All I do is I ask that you guys make sure you hit that like button if you like what's going on. Make sure you guys leave comments if you guys want me to add certain things to these midweek watches. Make sure you guys are leaving comments. Let me know what you want. I do respond. And if you like what we're doing here, make sure you guys also subscribe so you guys see when we're putting out new content. On that note, Ricky did an amazing job on Sunday prep, and in his Sunday prep, he talked a little bit about mental health and staying healthy and from the mental side. And I just thought it was absolutely awesome. He's doing every other Thursday, the Method and Mindset with Kim and Kurt. Make sure you guys are tuned in to get those, and make sure you guys are tuning into our YouTube channels because I think those are all getting recorded and pushed over to there as well. So great job, Ricky, as always. I do want to touch base on it. I'm going to jump on Ricky's bandwagon here and just let you guys know. Just make sure you guys are managing your levels. Make sure you guys are having low highs, kind of high lows. Make sure you're somewhere in between. It really will help you out a lot. Make sure you guys are doing the important things in your life, folks. I can't tell you enough. I've been doing this over 25 years. Been in the business. I've had highs and lows. We all have. Anybody that's been in the business has had them. The money comes and goes. It's a really challenging business that we're in. And I just want to remind you guys to always, manage yourself. Make sure you're spending time on the weekend with your families. I know you want to live, eat, and breathe the business, but there's more to life, guys. And I hope you guys are managing that because the mental side of this and the mental health part of this is a real thing. And I appreciate Ricky opening that up so much last week. And I just want to touch base briefly on it and let him know great job there for opening it up and bringing it to everybody's attention. And I just want to do the same thing, bring it to your attention again. And it is a topic that can always be talked about, should always be talked about and paid attention to. All right, guys. So on that note, let's get into this week's midweek watch. I'm going to start it off with our famous disclaimer here. And let's jump in. So TrueTrader North's representatives are not registered as a security broker dealer or investment advisor with the SEC or any state regulatory authorities. We are not licensed nor qualified to provide investment advice. Okay, guys, I am not a licensed broker. I'm not here to provide you investment advice. This is for entertainment purposes only, and let's keep it that way, okay? So let's move in and let's talk a little bit about the markets for a second, okay? This week, I hate to tell you guys, my short friends, the friends that love the shorts, I don't have any shorts on here this week, so I'll tell you that right up front. I have this funny feeling like that this dip is going to get bought up. Just watching the action over the last couple days when you're seeing this market, there's buyers still around. It's pretty incredible. This market has been on steroids. I got the SPY up right now, and I'll show you. You could see the 20-day. This light blue line right here is a 20-day. It's starting to catch up to it pretty quick. And I just have a feeling that this is going to get bought right up. Even the action today when the market was off a couple hundred points, NASDAQ, closed on, down over 1%. I mean, it was, it felt so heavy, but yet the buyers were still around in this market. And you could just kind of see it happening. Every time it had a big wash, it was bought right back up. So we'll see what happens. I could be dead wrong tomorrow. The market could drop and gap down 500, 600, 700 points. That's the fun about doing these on a Wednesday night because you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. But on that note, I'm kind of thinking that it's a buy the dip. So we'll see what happens. I got some good opportunities here, but ideally, just talking about ideally regarding the SPY for me, is it would come back, test this 20-day area, maybe even this prior resist here. I'm not sure, which is a little bit under it, which is fine. Obviously, we always like the 50 days. If I drag this chart back, you'll see this was nice action back here in May, and just the dips right into the 50-day and just kept going and rolling. Obviously, this was the extreme dip that we went to the 6-month moving average, that yellow line, and then obviously we shot up and we were wondering here what's going to happen, what are we going to do, and we just wanted a little bit of consolidation there, and there we go, we took off. Now we need a little bit of a pullback, maybe to this prior high right here would be nice. I'm not sure it's going to happen. I really don't. I don't buy that it's going to happen. We'll see what plays out over the next couple days. I hope I'm wrong. And it does pull back because that means opportunity. Guys, stop looking at the market pullbacks or the weakness in the market. And you look at your swings and you're like, oh my God, I'm so red. It's crazy. Listen, start looking at that as opportunity. If we don't have those pullbacks, we don't have opportunity, okay? Buy during maximum pessimism, Peter Lynch, right? So I know I use some of these same terms, but I want to bang them into your head, okay? So these are all opportunities. Qs look the same to me. Same thought process on the QQQ. It's NASDAQ. Same ideas. I want to pull back. Everything looks, very similar. Let me just auto scale this so you can kind of see pull back, same idea. And here we are again back into this prior resistance, which lines right up with the 20-day here. We'll see how it plays out. Okay, so let's get into the ideas, guys, and keep rolling here. And a few of these names you guys might be a little bit familiar with because I've traded a couple of these recently. But let's look at DDD. So 3D, what I looked at here on this, I'm going to blow it up. I'm going to give you the levels first, DDD. I'm looking for a long off 25.60. Now, here's the thing on DDD. I want to make sure they did an offering after hours. It was a convertible, I believe. The numbers were good on this company. That when I talk about the numbers and financials, it's always my opinion. Okay, guys. I thought the numbers were pretty okay on it. They did the offering. I can't imagine this 25.60, this annual pivot and this support area right here. Aftermarket, it was down in the 26s. I think it closed up at 28-ish or so, but it was down about $1.50, I think is where it closed. But I still want to see it off this action right here, off this 25.60. If it gets there, I'll definitely be looking at it for a long annual pivot. You got a last month, and you got the support area here. So that's what I'm looking for on DDD. We'll see what happens tomorrow on that one. Next one, GoDaddy, GDDY. And what I wrote down on this is I'm looking for a long off 69.75. So this is an interesting one. I like these kind of charts because I'm looking for a nice curl on the daily here. We'll see what happens. But a couple points I wrote down off 69.75. There's a monthly pivot right there. As you can see, let me zoom it in a little bit for you guys. You can see right here this monthly pivot, 69.75. And what I'm looking for on this is the numbers. I thought the numbers were good again. It's actually been holding this $70 area. I think it might end up holding that, which is at 69.75. And you could also see from this prior resistance right here, it's kind of closed the gap. So off this big drop, it had a big gap up here, came back, closed the gap. Looks nice, perfect timing for a curl here. I'll watch it off that $70 area. 69.75 is the number I wrote down because there's a monthly pivot right there. All right, let's move on. Did I say okay after that one? All right, moving on to WFC. Now, this is one I watched real closely today. I wrote down 49.70 for a long, 49.70. I'm familiar with this name. I actually have it on swing, but this is a name right now. I'll tell you, 49.70, the action today with the market coming in a couple hundred, I think it was down almost 300 at one point. This name was solid. It was pretty wild. So I wrote down 49.70 because that's a prior low. And then you have just below that after this prior low right here, you can see on this candle, but you also have an annual pivot and a prior monthly pivot right here as well. Okay. So I'm looking at WFC off 49.70, strong today. I was very impressed. I want to be back at it tomorrow. You can see the chart. It's been a nice trend on WFC. Let's see what happens with Wells Fargo tomorrow. WFC. This name has a little bit lighter volume, so I just want to flash that and make sure you're a little bit careful on this one. But I wrote down a long LPX off 63.10. That's a previous low in a 50-day. Another name I'm following pretty closely. Had a nice move. If you look from down here at the $59 area, push 68. Nice retrace. Bouncing off the 50-day here. Let's see what happens. A little bit light volume. Only traded 1 million shares today. But it does have a decent ATR, 2.6. So let's see if we get a nice trade off that. Let's look at 63.10, which again is that 50-day, that purple line right here, as well as a previous day's low. Moving right along to INMD. Now, this is a name that I've traded in the past. I don't have any positions on in it right now, but this is a name that was a really strong name from down here. I traded down in this area. It was a really nice long. It actually wish I would have held some. But I'm watching for a long INMD off 86.10. There's a monthly pivot down there and a prior consolidation right here. See this prior consolidation right into this monthly pivot? That's what I'm looking for. You can see a little bit of a resistance there. Prior resistance equals what? New support, correct? So that's what I look for here. So it closed pretty close to lows. Let's see if we get one more wash on it tomorrow down in that 86.10 area. See if it holds and makes another leg up. Been a very strong name, 86.10 on INMD. Another name, I pulled off this one from my Market Smith scan tonight. I wrote down KKR off 73.10. And this name came up, and there was a couple things there. You got a monthly pivot, a quarterly pivot, and look at how strong the numbers are here. And I mean, big, strong number. Strong name, I should say. Sorry about that. But just zooming in a little bit, this pink line right here. You got a monthly pivot right there. I wrote down KKR 73.10, which is just above that. It's right above the monthly pivot, right off the whole number there as well. Let's see what happens. I don't think it's. I think it closed on lows, So if you're wondering why I picked this level and not just off the 20-day here, it closed on lows. I got to believe it's going to come in again tomorrow. When stocks close on lows, I look for more follow-through weakness and a 2.4 ATR. That should get it down hopefully into that 73s or so. So we'll see what happens on that KKR. Moving on to Alcoa, AA. I put a long off 45.20. All right. And this is a real simple one for me. I don't know, you guys, I am swinging along on this right off this level here in the 45s. This is a name I've been following. And if anybody's been following it off this 45 level, it's been taking it. But there's been nice range off it. There's been a buck, $2.5 trades off this thing when it's holding this this $45 area. So as it's approached back into 45s, maybe with the market, I want to watch it. You can see the support area 45.20 is a low on this support area here. It closed pretty close to that. So I just want to note that. That's a note on it. Is it closed pretty close to that 45.20 area? If it breaks through and busts through here, next level will probably be off the 44 to see if it holds this quarterly pivot, okay? But right now I want to see what it does off that. It's 10 to held that 45 area. So we'll watch AA off 45.20. Ricky would be very proud of me for putting this on my watch list. Richards Sporting Goods, DKS. And I put a long off 127.50. Pretty simple explanation on this one. You can see the support area right in here on Richards. And you can see right here, you had a prior low and a 50-day. Anytime I see a lot of that with a stock that's been strong, and you can see it's been a strong name, I like to look back at it. So watch Dick's today, 120 or tomorrow, 127.50. See if it holds that 50-day in that previous low. Richards Sporting Goods. A couple more names, guys. Let me throw at you before the end here. FUBO. Now FUBO was again really heavy today. Kind of surprised me a little bit. I put down a long off 22.80 is what I'm watching for. Okay, 22.80. I know it's way down there. I know it closed at 25, but I'm just going by how it traded and how heavy it was today. I'm not saying it can't hold this monthly pivot 24.69 or maybe it holds it. I'm looking off this area right here. You got a prior monthly. Let me zoom it out a little bit here, so you guys can see what I'm looking at. This prior monthly and the support right off this area right here. Let me zoom back in. It's this monthly pivot and this support area right here is what I'm looking for on this. Okay, I wrote down on FUBO 22.80. All right, and the numbers seemed okay to me on FUBO when I looked at the numbers. All right, two more. MS, Morgan Stanley. This one I couldn't pass up. I know I already have Wells Fargo on there in the financial industry sector. But man, look at this. When I see an annual pivot, a quarterly pivot, and a 126 day here, I had to put this down. So MS, I'm watching off 96.70. That's MS off 96.70 again. Got an annual pivot, got a quarterly pivot, a 126 day, and prior support. Watch this. It closed on lows. Don't be surprised if it gets there. I know it's a little bit close to where it closed, but it might just hold that level real nicely and do a turn off there. So we got to keep an eye on that one. Morgan Stanley. 96.70. All right, last one for me, and this is a pretty funny one for me because I was actually short this not too long ago on this pop right here. I was swinging a short, and I wanted to show you how easy it is to change your bias. I wrote a long off this for you guys. What I'm looking for is a long off 112.70. Let me explain. Okay, so first of all, that's a prior low, and okay, today's low, which is prior low, and the 200 days right there. Listen, I've watched this trade, and no matter how much I thought this thing was going to come back into, this that right here, which is a support, and that's what I was short it. This name with the market was holding like anything. So, if I think that, off that 112.70, I just have a bias change on this. I think there's buyers around on the name. I think it showed it today. I thought it should have broke today. It didn't. It held in there, very strong trade right back up into the 113s. I have to watch this again if it drops into that 200 day. I definitely am looking for a long on this thing. We'll see what happens. Maybe it gaps through it, but I'm looking at 112.70 for a long on SBUX. All right, that's it for the ideas, guys. Just a reminder, please make sure you guys are leaving comments. Make sure you guys are subscribed so you get all our alerts. Make sure you guys leave a thumbs up if you like what we're doing here, guys. But I appreciate you all very much. Come check us out over at truetrader.net. And I wish you guys all a great evening, and we'll see you bright and early in the morning. Thank you all. Appreciate it.